Okay, so last couple of weeks of class are coming because you got the, well, let me go ahead and pull that up too because some of y'all are going to ask that and I'm not going to answer it, so because you should know this, but we'll go ahead and pull it up. When you go to your TCTC account, on the main page, I have to log in right quick, I'm sorry. Yeah, at least it didn't come up with a porn site this time. Something's wrong with this computer. It did. And I ain't stupid enough, okay, before you even think anything, I ain't stupid enough. If I was going to pull up a porn site, I sure as heck wouldn't pull it up here because it would send off bells and whistles and I'd be fired in 3 seconds. That psychology and that teachers can pull up porn all they want to, but they won't get fired. But I pull it up and oh my God, be that fiasco. All right, so here we go. Exam schedule right there. Look at there. Academic calendar. Wow. Let's look up the academic calendar for fall 2018. And go down here, and we're going to go to November because that's what month we're in. So let's go to November, and let's pull that up. Yeah, a lot of buttons to push. I think I had to push 2. But it's easier just to ask the teacher because the teacher's going to tell me, nope. So here we go. Thanksgiving holiday, no classes. Thanksgiving holiday, college closed. Thanksgiving, no classes, November 21st. That's on a Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, November 21st through 23rd, we do not come to class.
Yay.
That's why they give us these sheets. So students can go and print them what?
Out.
Yeah, right.
I figured this one out the hard way.
We're talking about students that, 1, they can't communicate, and 2, they can't spell mom backwards. So some don't know, how to print it out. It takes, for the whole semester to print it out. Anyway, last day of class. Y'all should know that by heart. December 4th through the 10th. Okay, so that leads into what we're going to talk about today. Well, not the whole class period, but December 4th is the last day of class. And this is for the online class also. December 4th is the last day of class. Now, I'm going to help y'all out because some of y'all have Tuesday and Thursday classes. And I have to tell my Tuesday and Thursday class this because some DAs will show up on the 5th. Okay? This is on Monday. So let's write that down. Monday. So therefore, your last day of class on a Tuesday, Thursday class is November what? Look on your calendar. Tuesday, Thursday class, the last day of class is the 29th. Somebody look. That would be on a Thursday. Since Tuesday and Thursday, the last day of class for you that week is on Thursday, this would be a Thursday. I have to tell people this. Now, after the last test, we're going to go over the test today. I'm going to try to get Chapter 4 in, but I may make it a Chapter 4 and Chapter 5 test and give you a little bit of each because it's not that difficult, okay? Because completing the square and learning the quadratics is the most difficult. So we've made it through the hardest part. So we're going to make one big test from next week until the last day of class. You're responsible, and that's going to be called the last test. Now, it may have Chapter 5 and 6. I think it's Chapter 5 and 6. I'll have to look in the book, in the syllabus and see. I think it's Chapter 5 and 6, but basically logarithms and solving systems of equations. Okay? that's the 2 sections. Whatever chapter that is, you just have to look in the book, okay? Okay, so that's going to be, you're responsible. After this next test, we're going to go over, and I'm going to, whatever I cover, and this is for the online class as well as y'all, whatever I cover in class from now until when?
The last day.
Last day of class, which is on what day? Thursday.
November 29th.
Okay. Now that's for this conventional class. I don't need any of the online class calling me and saying, can we not work after the 29th? Okay, that's the online class. I will have somebody, since I said this right here, I will have somebody from the online class call and ask me if they can work on stuff after the 29th. Okay? Anyway, to make the long story short, that last week of class, after the last day of class, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be doing. Okay? Because I have to go through this because some of y'all like freak out and go into all kind of hysterics. It's kind of like the SpongeBob episode where they run around in circles and panic. You know, doesn't do any good, but they do it. Some of y'all just can't realize that, one, I'm a laid-back teacher, and two, the conventional ways of teaching where they try to get everything in one little semester or one little week, I don't do all that. And some of y'all just can't comprehend that, huh?
We're a Monday and Wednesday class, so.
I know. I'm sorry. Sorry. Monday and Wednesday.
I'm
Your
getting
last day is
confused.
Monday and Wednesday. I thought we were talking. I thought this was yesterday. I'm sorry. Okay, so y'all's is Monday. So see, anyway, after Monday, after the last day of class, I'm going to be tweaking the grade book. Okay. Okay, you drug heads, shut up. Now, tweaking the grade book means several things. So listen to this, especially if you're one of these people that go into convulsions and cardiac arrest and jump around the room and panic and all this stuff, okay? 1, if I omit something, if I tell you we're not covering something, this is when I'm going to be doing omissions, okay? Like, let's say if we didn't cover, I'm going to make up a section 21.7 because I have to make up something we don't go over. Because if I say I omitted 4.1, somebody will email me and say, oh, I thought you omitted 4.1, and they'll use that as an excuse. So, 21.7, this book does not have a chapter 21 in it. But if I go over 21.7, if I say we're going to omit that, that has a weight to it. And that weight goes to your what?
Grade.
Your grade. So if I omit it, I need to go back and what? Take it out and redistribute that 3 or 4 points for that homework to your other, in other words, if it has 4 points, I'll make the other sections that we covered, instead of 3 points apiece, I'll make those 4 points. And that'll distribute that out. So that's what I mean by tweaking. All right? I'll be doing omissions. I'll be doing the weights. We redistributed the weights of your homework and your test. Like if we don't cover, okay, the solving systems of equations test, that's the last test. We're not going to have that test because I'm going to put it on the logarithm test. Okay, so we're going to do away with that last test. It's got 10 or 25 points on it. So I'm going to have to redistribute that 10 or 25 points because I'm going to omit that last test and I'm going to put it on the logarithm test and make the logarithm test more points. You see what I'm saying? Or I'm going to distribute that points among all the tests that we've taken. So that's what I mean by tweaking the grade book. You will see your grade change a little bit that week. All right? Now, it will be because I'm redistributing those points. Most of the time, it'll go up. What else will I be doing? I'll be assigning zeros. Assigning zeros means that if you didn't do 5.1 homework, then I'm going to assign a 0 for it. Now, usually I'll be doing this during the week of finals. Okay, last day of class to the during week of finals. Okay, everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
So during the week of finals, when all of you were worried about finals, that's what I'll be doing, all right? Now let's go ahead and talk about that because some of y'all are going to try to screw this up too. So, and I mean not y'all in here, I mean students. So y'all try to do everything y'all can to make my class like the other classes during this week. Y'all try to make, and you don't have to because I'm not that way, all right? Even though Pendleton hates me, okay? I'm still a pretty good teacher, okay? Because I don't do some of the stuff these other teachers do. All right. You have a final where? Where's all your tests this semester?
At home.
Online. Okay, so your final is going to be online. You're going to have 2 attempts. The reason I give you 2 attempts on the final is because some of you will take the final during a lightning storm. Okay? And it takes the higher of the 2. Takes the highest grade. Just like always. I'm not going to do the things that I do all through the semester and then the final, I'm going to change horses in midstream. I'm not going to do that because that will give you an excuse. All right? So I'm not going to do that. So I do everything I've been doing. The only thing different is I don't give you 3 attempts, I give you 2 attempts. You'll have 2 hours to take the test online. And usually my tests are 30 to 40 questions, somewhere around there. You are responsible for everything that's on the test that I've already given. So if I don't give you a certain thing on chapter 6 or whatever the last test is, then you're not responsible for it. If we don't cover 21.7, then you're not responsible for 21.7. How will you know that? Well, by the time the final approaches, I will have all those omitted. So all you have to do is look at your homework and look at your test, and that's what you're responsible for. You can review your test. You can go to your grade book and go beside your test and hit review, and you can go through and look at the questions you're responsible for. You don't have an excuse to fail this class. I told you that the first week of class. The only way that you can fail this class if you just suffer from lazy disorder. Because I've given you all the, advantages, all the, whatevers. Now, let me ask you a question. If you're sitting in a class and the teacher gives you back your test and the teacher accidentally gave everybody an extra 10 points. The teacher didn't grade the last page, which is on the back. There was one question on the last, and he didn't grade it, or she didn't grade it. Are you going to stand up and raise your hand and say, oh, Miss So-and-so, you didn't grade the last question on everybody's test, so you gave everybody an extra 10 points. You need to take that 10 points off. Is anybody going to do that? Well, somebody at Pendleton campus might, but mostly everybody else will not. Okay? Now, what does that have to do with this? If you see something happen to your homework and test assignment during the last week of class, and it's to your advantage, are you going to email me 15 times and send me a text message and say, Hubert, something's going on with the homework and test, and I'm confused? Or you going to roll with it?
Roll with it.
You're going to roll with it. Okay, some of you may have an idea of what I'm talking about. Some of you may not have a clue. But you don't jump up and down and run around in circles because you don't know. Okay? What you do is you wait and see what I'm going to do. And then you say, hey, this might be to my advantage. I'm going to take advantage of it. Okay? Everybody with me? So if you see something happen on the homework and test, you roll with it because it's probably going to be to your advantage. Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who's got questions about the last week of tests? And that does apply to the online class also for those 1 or 2 out of 30 that actually watch the video. Okay?
Mr. Hubert?
Yes.
What week are you opening up the assignments again to redo them if we have missed assignments or low grades on them?
You have to watch for it. I don't announce it. Because if I announce it, all the procrastinators will wait until that day I open it up. So I make you at least watch the dates on My Labs Plus. So when you see that, when you see it happen, then go with it.
Okay, so Hubert,
Yes.
I'm just gonna basically like regurgitate everything you said to make sure that I heard it correctly. So you're gonna give us a test.
What?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so you're gonna give us a test like from now to basically next week of class, and then the next week of class you're gonna give us like this like big test, and then
Okay,
once
all right,
our class-
stop. You're trying to confuse. There's only 2 more tests left. There is the
Okay.
test that we're going to go over today,
Okay.
and then we're going to call the other one the logarithmic solving systems of equation test,
Okay.
right here. Okay, so you have the test that we're going over today is called Unit, I think, 2 test, and I think it's called something else. So it's not complete the square. It's called, I think it's called transformation, trans. I think that's what it's called. Okay? That's tests we're going to go over today. Okay?
Is it going to
This
be
test
open to you?
is up until the last day of class.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so there's the 2 tests. Then, during the week of finals, this one will be, okay, the last test will open, this test right here will open the last day of class, and it will end on the last day of what? Finals. Okay?
Okay, so you're giving us a test today, and then during the week of finals and the last, or after the last week of class until the end of finals, there's the last test.
Yes. And you're
Not
going to be
to be
also
confused.
working on your final exam too. So that
Oh,
last
boy,
week,
okay.
you can work on this test right here, or the final week of finals. You're going to be working on this test, and you're going to be working on the final.
Okay, got it.
Okay? Now that's a trade-off. You don't have to worry about getting your butt in here at a certain time, but you have to work on 2 tests. You see what I'm saying? So it's a trade-off. Now, I can easily just not do the online testing, and then we'll have to go through the rigmarole of you having to come in here and take a test. Then I have to get some proctors to come up there, and then it's going to cause all kind of problems. So this is the best way to handle it. Okay?
Okay. And
Okay,
did you
so-
say?
And where, first of all, where will all these dates be?
Yes. That's
They will be where?
on the academic calendar.
Not on the academic calendar, but
The calendar thing on the TCTC
what have we been
website?
using all semester? My Labs Plus. Everything's going to be on My Labs Plus.
You don't use black.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't use Blackboard, yeah. Everything's going to be on My Labs Plus.
What is not?
And that's for the online class too, for the 2 people that, out of 30 that use the videos. Okay?
Okay.
All right, who else got questions?
Okay, so we need to have
ahead, Miss-
chapter 4, 5, and 6 for homework done.
I will pick out stuff. I'll pick out stuff and we'll go through that. We'll start that next week. Okay?
Okay, so do we need
I'm
to
going
worry
to go
about
through
doing
and
that
pick
homework?
out the sections that are important. Yes?
Okay.
Okay.
So what?
It's
I
going
just
to be
don't know what to
okay.
do for homework.
Y'all are starting to freak. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't
Well, I just
freak.
don't know what to do for homework, so because I haven't
But
done
right
4.1.
now, okay, this is what you need to be doing for homework for right now. Okay, let's go to another page.
I've got plenty of homework for you to do.
Oh God.
Oh, let's freak out. It's time to freak out.
I'm kind of with her. I'm like
It
about
really
to spaz as well.
Well, I have to show y'all a trick I learned in the war.
Go to sleep.
No, you go to My Labs Plus, and I might have shown y'all this. It shows y'all what? The dates. It does that. So what y'all are doing right now is just what? Spazzing. That's what y'all are doing. So I'm going to show you how not to spaz. This one don't have a calendar, does it? Okay, it doesn't.
Then it's time.
Assignments? Okay.
Fine.
Okay, let's see. We're in 3.2, 3.3. When is 3.3 due?
Daggone the 19th.
And when is, let's go ahead and talk about that. That's when? Monday. 4.1 and 4.2 is open. Now, that's always been open. I need to change that to the 19th also, but that's exponentials. That's not a big deal. Here is, I will open up chapter 5 and chapter 6 until the last day of what? Class.
That's a lot of homework right here.
Yep.
That is a lot
But
of
it's
homework.
not, okay, it's not that big a deal. You're not going to be doing complete the square with these things. You're not going to be, these are 1 or 2 sentence problems. These are not very long problems. Okay? And it's
Okay, so
law of
we're-
exponents and law of logarithms. So, contrary to popular belief, I know what I'm doing, and I know what's easy and what's not to students. And once you get onto the exponential and logarithmic laws, and once you refresh yourself on the exponential laws, you're going to say, okay, this is not too bad. And it's not. Okay? So, there are some people that don't know that, they don't know, they think I don't know what I'm doing, but I do. All right, so everything is on my last plus. Go to the test. All right, when you go to the test, it's going to say, there it is right there. Unit 2 test. It's supposed to have something beside it, but I guess I erased it. Okay? Again, you have 5. The reason these are 5 is because this section is important. Okay, that's why it's been so difficult for some people. Okay? All right, who else has got questions? And I will keep you posted. All right, I will keep you posted as well as the online class. But remember, you may see something happen that last week of class. You may see something happen and it just fix everything. I may open up everything for a week for you to finish everything.
That'd be so cool.
Finally got
But
a
I'm
word.
supposed to be an SOB, remember?
You got a word out.
I'm supposed to be a jerk. Just because I want people to communicate with me. That's all right. I get to evaluate each one of y'all too. Each campus, I get to write up a thing about y'all. So,
Really?
oh yeah.
Like, oh no.
I'm not. You think I'm going to sit here and take a blindside evaluation and not evaluate my class? I write my department head a synopsis on every class.
Cool. I didn't know that.
I bet she's like, how would
The Pendleton campus is basically going to get an introverted summary. I'm going to make my boss know that since I'm a jerk, they can be a jerk too. So, introversion gets you nowhere. Okay, in the real world, it gets you nowhere. So,
next week, do we only have class on Monday, or do we have class Monday and Wednesday?
I have no idea.
I don't think he was in here.
Just Monday.
Let's see. What'd you
Just
say?
Monday.
What'd you say? He wasn't what?
I don't think he was in here.
Yeah, he wasn't in here. We already went over this.
Just Monday.
Yeah,
Just Monday.
yeah, we already went over it. Yeah.
Just fucking Monday?
Yeah, see right here, look, that's what we went over. We went over that. It's called the academic calendar.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about
Yeah, exactly.
that.
It's easier to ask the teacher, and the teacher's not going to tell you. I didn't.
You're the only teacher that won't tell you.
Exactly.
That was the first time I've ever. The only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will continue to do that because the information is out there. You have to find it.
You like to be in a room.
No, I like to teach people what the real world is like, and you know how the real world is.
Yes.
Does anybody call up to you and say, "Oh, Mr. Bays, I need to tell you this before you turn in your project"?
No. No, they don't. They fire you when you.
Yeah, they fire you. I know that's hard for some puppies. I know that. Sorry, snowflakes. That's the way the real world is. All right, so we're going to hit the Unit 2 test. Here we go.
But wait. We have class Monday and Wednesday.
I don't know. Here's the test. Now, you're going to be amazed on how much you know on this test.
Is that completing the square?
Look at that. Completing the square. Write it down.
Lord.
Now, I'm not going through all of these, but the solution set, what does that mean? They want the what intercepts?
X values or
X-intercept.
intercepts.
So that
Sorry.
means you need to write it in the radicals. Now, if you do that this time, I'm not giving you any points. I've done told you once.
I got it.
They wanted radicals.
I got it at the time.
Okay, so do that one right quick. Go ahead and start it off. We're not going to go all the way and draw all the things. We're just going to go through and do it. So, take your handy dandy whiteboard. And we're going to do 2x squared plus 5x plus blank is equal to 1 plus blank. Factor out of 2. X squared plus 5 halves plus blank is equal to 1 plus 2 times blank. Half of 5 halves is 1/4. I'm sorry, 5/4. 5/4 squared is 25 what? 16ths. And that's going to give us 2 times x plus 5/4 quantity squared is equal to the 2, and that'd be 8, so that'd be 16/8 plus 8/8, sorry. That'd be 8/8 plus 25/8, and that's going to be 2 times x plus 5/4 quantity squared is equal to 8 plus 25 is what? 33? I don't have any idea. What is it? 33? 33/8. Divide by 2. Multiply by 2. That's x plus 5/4 quantity squared is equal to 33 over 16. Why am I not stopping with vertex? Because they're not asking for the what? Vertex. They're asking for the x-intercepts. So that's going to be x plus 5/4 is equal to the square root of 33 over 4. So that's going to be x is equal to the square root of 33 minus 5 over what? 4. So I'm going to type it in like this. I'm going to type in, and if it's not good enough, then I'm sorry. I will take it as long as it's a radical, all right? So I'm going to put in positive or negative square root of 33. Wait a minute, hold on. Do the fraction bar. Positive or negative square root of 33. Arrow over 1 time, minus 5 over what? 4.
4.
I will take that. If it doesn't take it, I will take that.
I think plus minus has to be out in front of all
Well, I'll take either
that.
one.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll put it out front then. Positive or negative. Wherever you put it's fine. Wherever you put it's fine. As far as it's in front. There. Next question. This don't have a, it don't have, oh, I'm taking the test, that's why. If I would just review the test, I'd have a check answer down here, but I don't. Okay, next question. I'm not going to go over the bonus questions because y'all should know them by now. This is only your 3rd test. Even though I've had some people ask me these questions. All right, this one, I think we've done one like this in class. Somebody tell me, I think we did.
Yes, sir.
And this is negative 7 plus 5i plus 5 minus 4i plus 2 minus I. And I'm going to distribute, and that's negative 7 plus 5i. That doesn't do anything. Plus 5 minus 4i. There's no negatives in this one. Oh well. And that's plus 2 minus I. And I'm going to put a 1 there just so y'all won't be confused. Negative 7 plus 5 is what? Negative 2 plus 2 is what? So they all cancel out. And you're left with 5i minus 4i is 1i. And 1i minus 1i is 0. Wow, that's usually doesn't happen. I hope that's right. I hope I hadn't messed up, or I hope the question is not supposed to have a negative in there somewhere. I don't think I've ever done one that come out to be 0. Oh well. Next question. There's another one. Now, read the question before you start to take off, because you may not need to find the x-intercepts. Okay, you need to graph the function, so I don't know if they're just want, since you have to graph it, they may just want 1 point. So I would stop at the vertex. So x squared minus 8x plus blank equals negative 11 plus blank. And 8 divided by 2 is what? 4 squared. So that's going to give you x minus 4, quantity squared, is equal to, what's negative 11 plus 16? Dang old positive 5. So your vertex is 4 comma negative 5. So I think since you have your y-intercept, the y-intercept is what? 11. You should be able to graph using just those two. I don't think they're going to ask for the x-intercepts on this one unless it's another letter. So
What does it ask for? They want us to just drop the number?
that's the vertical shift.
Vertical shift, okay.
They're just asking for the vertical shift. All right, so you hit this over here, and you do this, and 4, negative 5. Make sure the little do-jigger somewhere says negative 5. Where is, oh, there it is, up at the top right-hand corner. So it should say 4 and negative 5. Don't hit the button until it says 4 and negative 5. And then the y-intercept is positive 11. Okay, don't show it, so they're going to want an x-intercept. So let's go ahead and find the x-intercept. Sorry. So that's going to be x minus 4, quantity squared, is equal to 5. Well, this is going to be hard to do, but we'll try. So x minus 4 is equal to positive or negative. The square root of 5, somebody check, is 2.7 or 2.27? I can't remember. Somebody check me and tell me what the square root of 5 is, please.
2.2.
2.2.
2.2, and that's x is equal to positive or negative 2.2 plus 4. So 6.6 and negative 2.2 plus 4 is negative 1.8. Somebody check me, or positive 1.8.
Hubert, wouldn't that be 6.2?
Yes, thank you. 6.2, and what is this? Is it 1.8?
You have a work email.
And I'm going to go and see if I can, I don't know if I can actually put in 6.2. They're not, I don't understand how you're supposed to, I can't go to 11. Wait a minute, I didn't put in the vertex. Let me put in the vertex. Let me hit cancel. I didn't put in the vertex. Vertex is 4, comma, negative 5. Type is an ordered pair, so they probably want parentheses. And click to enlarge. Click, graph, plot the vertex. Okay, we're plotting the vertex, 4 and negative 5. Click the plot graph to plot a point. See, I can't do 1.8. I'm going to do 2, but I don't see how you're supposed to do it. They don't give you a graph big enough. It's supposed to have 11, and I can't get to 11. So I'm going to do 2, but I doubt that's going to work. But we'll somebody mark this one. This one's number 4. Mark it, please. that one's probably going to be half wrong. We're going to have to figure out how to do that one because that's... Anyway, move on. All right, here's another one. 8 minus 6i plus 5i plus 6. God, I picked out the easy ones for you. Maybe I need to go back and change it. 8 minus 6i plus 5i plus 6. And 8 plus 5 is what? 8 plus 6 is what?
14.
14. And then negative 6i plus 5i is what?
Negative I.
That should be it, unless I did my math wrong. 14 minus I. Make sure you type it in 14 minus I form because they want it in A plus BI. So that'd be 14 minus I. Next. Completing the square again. X squared minus 6x plus blank is equal to 4 plus blank. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. They want the x-intercepts. So x minus 3, quantity squared, is equal to what? 13. Take the square root. X minus 3 is equal to the square root of 13. X is equal to the square root of 13 minus what? Plus 3. Plus 3. I bet you $1 there's actually people in these 3 campuses. I guarantee you there's somebody that's actually learned how to do completing the square and they can't believe it. But they ain't gonna say nothing, of course. Yep. So, square root, so make sure you put the positive or negative. Of course, I don't care, but I'd rather not have to go change 15 different answers. Plus 3. Next. The comprehensive graphs of 4 polynomial functions are shown in A through D. Which are the graphs, which of the graphs cannot be a cubic polynomial? Look in your family of graphs. What is a cubic?
Cubic is
cubic
odd.
function, family of graphs. Does it go in the same direction or opposite directions? F of x is equal to x cubed, or x to the 5th, or x to the 7th, or x to the 9th. Any of those is going to look like what? So which ones does it look like? Looks like this one, it looks like this one, and it looks like what? This one, because you got ending behavior of opposite what? Opposite what?
Directions.
Opposite directions. Which one does not have opposite directions?
B.
B has the same direction, so B is your answer, because it is not a cubic function. So you don't need to get this one wrong.
And if you do, don't tell anybody.
Good job. You actually listen. Somebody's going to beat her up when she goes out in the hallway. Because she's interacting. She's not supposed to do that. Solve by completing the square. This next step again. 2x squared plus 5x plus blank is equal to 1 plus blank. Factor out 2. This is like the first one we did, I believe. X squared plus 5 halves. X plus blank is equal to 1 plus 2 times blank. Is this the same?
It is the exact same.
Okay, well then look at it as a freebie. We're gonna move on.
Hey.
Or I'd take it off and put another one on. What do y'all think?
You're such a.
Yeah, I'm such a terrible teacher.
Yeah, you should.
All right, there's an easy one. Now, I'm sorry, but if you sat through all of my completing the square lectures, there's no way you can get this one wrong, unless you make a careless mistake. X squared minus 10x plus blank is equal to 4 plus blank. What's half of 10?
5.
5 squared.
25.
X minus 5, quantity squared, is equal to 29. X minus 5 is equal to the square root of 29. X is equal to the square root of 29 plus 5. Let me ask some of y'all a question. Maybe some of y'all that's done 3 or 4 of the last test because you had to get it right. And what are you noticing about completing the square after you finished about 3 or 4 of those tests from the last unit?
It doesn't get easier.
It does get what?
It does get easier.
Notice how many steps we're doing now. We're only doing about 4 steps. We did do about 8 steps. Remember the baby steps that I used to put in?
Yeah, That's how many steps you're doing.
Huh?
How many steps you're doing?
Unit A
I'm not doing that many steps. I'm doing a bunch.
Well, Mr. Bays, I'm not going to say anything. We're going to stay with this, but I'm not going to say nothing about the laptop and all that. But we're going to go right here and we're going to type in positive or negative square root of 29 plus what? 5. I can't
What's
see.
5?
There we go. And next. Everybody should be at this. That's what I'm just going to say.
Call Hebert's
Now,
office 5 or 6 times.
there's several exceptions to the rule. And as long as they realize they're an exception to the rule, we can go with it, okay? But 95% of you should be able to do in 3 or 4 steps. And you should be seeing that. Okay, this one is one I've been expecting. Shortcut number what?
Number 2.
Shortcut number 3.
3.
Shortcut number 3. The answer is going to be 3 minus of what? Negative 1. Why is it negative 1?
I squared is negative
Good
1.
job. I squared. And what's 3 plus 1? 4.
4.
Now, the person that goes, well, I don't know how you got that. You don't know shortcut number 3. So, I can learn it. So don't raise your hand and say, after I've said that, don't raise your hand and say, oh, I don't know how you got that. Okay? Because you refuse to learn what I tell you to learn. And I don't know who I'm talking to, so don't raise your hand. Next. Next. Oh no, another completing the square. Uh-oh, this one has what? Oh, it is a 4, 18. That's going to be tough. 18 divided by 2, you might need a calculator.
Yeah, I got a calculator.
You got one?
I got a calculator.
18 divided by 2 is 9 squared is? And x minus 9 quantity squared is equal to 85. Hey, we may get this done in 3 steps. X is equal to the square root of 85 minus what, or plus what? Wow, we did completing the square in 3 steps. We feel good about ourselves.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about all the stuff we've been doing on our calculator, like, the last week?
The last week, that's probably going to show up in the chapter 4. But I thought I'd finish doing this one and show the chapter 4. I might give you another test on chapter 4. I don't know yet. I may leave it out.
I would, because it's,
So none of that's going to be on this test.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it is. We might see some. We still got about 15 problems to go through, don't we?
so.
We still got 15 problems, so I don't know if it's on here or not. We'll just see. Okay?
Okay.
You want me to add it? I can add it if you want me to.
Hey,
No.
hey.
Square root of 85. I don't know. I thought when I saw the test pop up, I thought it said chapter 3 and 4, but we'll see in just a minute. Positive or negative? I forgot to add the positive or negative.
About to get it wrong.
Yeah, I know. Plus 9. Plus 9.
It'd be very embarrassing if you failed your own test.
It'd be very embarrassing. What?
If you failed your
Oh, listen, I've done some rounding, especially in the 103 and the 120. They're rounding. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Plus 9. The good thing about this is you type in the dadgum radical, and it's kind of hard to screw that up. Although some people break an anvil with a banana.
I know who you're talking about.
Actually, I'm talking about Mr. Goolsby.
Yeah, I know exactly.
All right, so here's one. Do it. You don't even have to. It's on the vertex again. I hope this one. See, I like this question because you can actually pick. You can actually pick the problem, and you get negative x squared plus 12x plus blank is equal to 30 plus blank. And factor out a negative, and that's going to give you x squared minus 12x plus blank is equal to 30 plus negative 1 times blank. What's half of 12? 6 squared? 36. And negative x minus 6, quantity squared, is equal to, what's 30 minus 36? Negative 6. So our vertex is 6 comma what? 6. So that would put it in what quadrant? The first quadrant. So this one's not right. This one's not right. This one's not right. Wow. You can actually narrow it down to one answer. And that's going to give us 6. Let me put it in the parentheses. 6 comma 6 and D. Next. And next. Conjugate. There's the conjugate. So let's do the conjugate. So what is the conjugate of 8 minus 2i?
8 plus 2i.
8 plus 2i. So that's going to be times 8 plus 2i over 8 plus 2i. And that's going to give you shortcut number 3 on the bottom, which will give you 64, right? Because 8 squared and 4i, but that 4i is going to turn into a what? A positive 4i. I meant positive 4 because of the negative I, because I squared is equal to negative 1. So that's going to be 64 plus 4, which is what? 68. Somebody check my math on that. And the top is going to be shortcut number what? Number 1. Shortcut number 1 is 64 plus 2 times 8 is 16 times 2 is 32i plus 4i squared, which is going to be negative 4 because of the I squared. And of course, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you don't know your shortcuts. So learn your shortcuts. And that's going to be 64 plus 4, or 64 minus 4 is what?
60.
60 plus 32i over 68. And I'm just going to divide by 2 because that's the way I do things. 30 plus 16i divided by what? 34? And that's going to be 15 plus what? 8I divided by 17? I think so. Now, like I said, if you're a little bit rusty on that, then you don't know your shortcuts and you don't know the rule about I squared. So, 15 plus 8I, and you could put positive or negative. Let's do positive or negative because of the 8I. And it might not like it. Well, I don't have it down here, so we'll just say 15 plus 8I plus 8I divided by 17.
Hubert,
Yes,
why would that have been a plus or minus 8I?
because it's a radical. I is the square root of what? -1. So you could technically put a plus or minus here because that's a radical, but since they don't have it down here, they're not worried about it. Comprende?
Got it.
All right, here's another one. So this one, yeah, they want to know the graph. So we're going to have to do completing the square. So that's going to be -2x squared plus 10x plus blank equals 0 plus blank. Factor out a -2. X squared minus 5x plus blank is equal to 0 plus -2 times blank. Half of 5 is 5 halves. 5 halves squared is what? 25 fourths. 25 fourths. And that's going to be -2 times x minus 5 halves. Quantity squared is equal to, and 0, that 2 knocks out that 2, that'll be -25 halves equals -25 halves. So what's the vertex? The vertex is 5 halves, comma, 25 halves. What quadrant is it in? They're both positive, so it's in quadrant what? So that takes care of this one, takes care of this one, takes care of this one. So pretty much D is your answer.
On the second step, when you factored out the -2, but you left the 5, is it supposed to be 5 halves? Or am I?
Okay, what's 2 divided by 2? 1. What's 10 divided by 2? And 5 divided by 2 is what?
Okay. Sorry.
5 halves squared is 25 fourths. That's supposed to be a 2, right? That might be where you're confused. 25 fourths. I think I was probably, we still got 10 questions. I thought chapter 4 was going to be on here, but we'll get it eventually. Now, I'm not going to type in, well, I guess I better. Let me go ahead and type in the whole thing. P of x is equal to -2 parentheses, what is it? X minus 5 halves, x minus 5 divided by 2, quantity, of course it's not going to, there we go. And then shift up, what is that, squared? And then what happens when I bring the 25 halves over? It becomes a what? Positive 25 halves. Remember, that's the intercept form. That's what I kept writing over to the side and telling you that they may want it in that form. I did it at least 20 times. Okay? So there's the, I think that's what they want there. The vertex is parentheses, 5 divided by 2, and then,
That's where you drop it.
I'm sorry, what?
That's where you drop it.
Drop what?
The vertex. The stay positive 25 halves.
Yeah, you just drop it down when it's like that, yes. Take the opposite of both when you got like that.
Right.
So that'd be good. You remembered, good. 25 over 2. Either way, you're going to get the same thing if you don't type it in wrong, if you suck at typing. And the answer is, which one would D? Next question.
So that's what my problem was with the test last time. I have trouble typing.
Yeah, whatever.
I couldn't figure out how to put the square root there.
Checks in the mail. Oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to do this one because it's up to the 15,885th power.
What's the point of that?
What's the first thing you say? Is that odd or what?
Even.
It's odd.
Is it odd or even?
Odd.
Okay, so it takes out, which ones does it take out?
A and D.
It takes out A and D because that's the same direction. Now go back to your family of graphs. Your family of graphs say that a regular odd function, not negative or anything, looks like that. So which one is it?
The diagonal C.
It's C. It's not B because that would be a negative 2x to the 15,185. That's what that would be. So it's this. So there's two questions I should take off because they're too easy. The other one, there's another one on there that's too easy. I'm so nice to y'all. No, I'm sorry, I'm not nice. I'm mean. I have my moments. Yeah. 4x squared plus x might equals 3. So it does. 4x squared plus x plus blank is equal to 3 plus blank. Factor out a 4. Oh crap, we got a fraction, so we might as well quit. Plus 1/4 x plus blank is equal to 3 plus 4 times blank. What's 1/4 divided by 2? 1/8? What's 1/8 squared?
1/64.
1/64. Good. Okay, that's going to give me 4 times x plus 1/8 quantity squared is equal to, how many times will 4 go into 64? Dang old 16. So I'm going to change this into 48 over 16 plus 1 over 16. All right, so 4, I don't know what they're asking for. 1/8 quantity squared is equal to 49. Oh my gosh, perfect squared. So our vertex, if they ask, no, they want the vertex. Okay, so if I divide by 4, that's going to make that a 64 over there. So x plus 1/8 quantity squared is equal to 49 over 64. Take the square root of both sides. X plus 1/8 is equal to 7 over what? 8. Bring that 1 over. And that's going to be, or minus, sorry. So what's 7 minus 1? 6. 6 over 8 is 3/4.
3/4.
And what's negative 8 minus 1? Negative 9/8. Y'all check my math, because that's fraction, but always check it.
Wouldn't that be 1? Negative 1?
No, I'm sorry. I was thinking 9. I'm sorry. Yes, that would be 1. Thank you. Thank you for communicating. Well, just go with it, okay? This is not best note-taking day, okay? This is trying to get you to make another A on a test.
I thought this was art.
3 divided by 4, and then comma, and then negative 1. It shouldn't matter how they type them in. There. Next. So I guess there's not chapter 4 on here. So what I'll do is I'll probably give y'all a unit 4 test, 10 questions on it. Will that be okay for y'all with 10 questions?
I might survive.
You think? Since it's all on the calculator?
I'll probably miss that.
I don't know. Actually, if it's all on the calculator, then I won't survive.
Well, that's not a bad thing at all. That's a good thing.
I sat in the lab for an hour yesterday, still trying to, but I did figure it out. I figured it out.
There's nothing wrong with that. That means you're using your brain, which is a terrible thing.
Step 1 for me.
4x squared. Mr. Goolsby.
What?
You're just gonna fail. So just quit
I've
trying.
got calculators to begin with.
97. Mr. Goolsby's got a Sally Homemaker calculator.
I've got that one on my phone. Can't work that.
All right, so
It has flowers on it.
yeah, it has flowers on it. You got it at Walmart in the checkout stand. X squared minus 10x plus blank is equal to 97 plus negative 4 times blank. Okay, so x squared minus 10x divided by 10, that's 5. 5 squared is what? 25. 25. So negative 4 times x minus 5 quantity squared is equal to, is that what you got? Because 4 times 25 is 100, so 97 minus 100 would be negative 3, right? So what's our vertex? Our vertex is 5, comma 3. Oh my gosh, these are so easy. And which one is not in the first quadrant? Or in the first quadrant, I'm sorry. So that would be B. Are they asking for the x-intercept? No, they're asking for the vertex. So you type in the handy dandy. I'll make a deal with y'all on Unit 4 in just a second, okay? Okay, so that's going to be 5, 3, 5, comma 3. 5, comma 3, and B. Next.
A for X.
Oh gosh, I don't think you're going to be able to handle this one because they've already done it for you. They've
No.
already done completing the square for you. So let's write it out. It is x minus 9. Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, the coordinates, they've already done everything. So, but you got to write it out so you can understand it. F of x is equal to x minus 19 quantity squared plus what? 0. You got to put that out there because it's not there, so it's assumed to be a 0. So that means our vertex is 19, comma what?
0.
0. That's our vertex.
Well, it's not there on the graph.
So it's right there too. So, well, I'm just saying, some people might need it. The coordinates of the vertex, right there. Give the domain. Well, what have we said about these questions? All these questions, the domain is going to be all real numbers. So I guess you just type in negative infinity to positive infinity. Okay, so parentheses 19, comma 0. And the domain, parentheses negative infinity, comma, I know, positive infinity. But I suck at typing. That's the class where I was in keyboarding in high school, and the woman said that I was uncouth. And I said, thank you very much. Wasn't a good experience. All right, 0 to what? 0 to infinity is your range. And decreasing or axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is x is equal to what? 19.
19.
And increasing from 0, I'm sorry, from 19 to what? Infinity. So 19 to infinity. And decreasing from negative infinity to 19. And what else is it asking? State whether the vertex is max. It's a minimum. Why is it a minimum? Because you got a bowl of
It's like
soup.
a bowl.
Exactly. So that's the minimum. And I don't know, the corresponding minimum value is the vertex, but I think they want the x or the y. Which one is it? Do y'all know out of
I
your
think
homework
it's
which
the
one?
Y.
So that'd be 0.
0.
Okay. And the next one? I'm not going to do that. Well, we'll go ahead and do it. Might as well. So that way nobody can have the excuse, I didn't know how to do that last one. So 2x squared minus x plus blank equals 17 plus blank. Okay, factor out of 2. That's going to be 2x squared minus 1/2 x plus blank is equal to 17 plus 2 times blank. Half of 1/2 is 1/4. 1/4 squared is 1/16. What do they want? X intercepts. 2 times x minus 1/4 quantity squared is equal to 2. Take that 16 to an 8. Somebody multiply 8 times 136. Somebody help me out. What's 8 times 17?
136.
Of course it is. 1/8. So that's going to give us 2x minus 1/4 quantity squared is equal to 137 over 8. Multiply both, divide by 1/2, divide by 2, multiply by 1/2. That's going to turn this into a what? A 16, and it's going to get rid of this. So what's the square root of 137? I have no idea. X, we don't need it because it's wanting the radicals, Mr. Billsby. 1/4 is equal to the square root of 137 over 4. So bring this over, that's going to be a plus 1. So your answer is 137, square root of 137 plus 1 over 4. So take your handy dandy fraction bar, and that's going to be positive or negative, and like Mr. Bay said, you might want to put that in the front. And radical 137, arrow over, plus 1 over, did y'all check my math?
Yeah.
And next, and the last one is FOIL method, which gives us, how do I know it's FOIL? Because they're not the same, so it doesn't match the shortcuts. That's why you learn the shortcuts versus the, yeah, what shortcuts, exactly. 6 plus 7i, 2 minus 8i, and this is the reverse, FOIL, 16, or 12 minus 16i plus 14i minus, well, it's a minus 56, right? But what happens when you do the I squared? You get a negative 1, and it turns that negative 56 into what?
Positive 56.
If 7 times 8 is 56. Sometimes I mess up on 8s, so check it. 12 plus 56 is 68 minus, what is negative 16i plus 14i? Negative 2i, Hubert. And there's your answer. 68 minus 2i. Now, a lot of people say, why don't you factor out a 2? That's not simplified. Your pencil hits the paper more times, so you wanted a 68 minus 2i.
Oh, erase that.
68 minus 2i. Okay, so this is what I'll do. First of all, we'll submit the test, and let's see. Well, I don't know. I skipped all the bonus questions, so I don't know. I think we got most of the ones we did right. Now, some of them, let's see. Is that a bonus question? Yeah, I skipped all the bonus questions. Okay, let's look at number 4. And it marked it wrong. So I don't know how they graph that one. I don't know how they graphed it because I can't get 1.8 and 11 wasn't up there. Has anybody got any clue how they graphed it?
I don't know. When I did this one, I did one like this one, and it was the same thing, and I literally just had to guess, and I just got it right by one.
If you have one like that, just let me know, and I'll fix it after class, okay? Or after. Now, what will I do on the Unit 4 test since I didn't put it on here, which I didn't know I did, so that means I'll do it for all of you. The online test, also, the online class also. What I'll do is I'll load I'm trying to get to the whiteboard. There it is. I'll load a test up this weekend or Monday, okay? We might do it Monday during class, and we'll go through it, okay? And evidently I have another, let me look right quick. We got time. Some of y'all, let's see, what time is it before some of y'all's head explodes?
10:49.
Okay, Pendleton's campus can wait. Their head won't explode for another 5 minutes. So let's go over to the, well, I'm trying to go to your test. Hold on just a second. Let me find it. I might have a Unit 4 test on there. Let me go here. Give me a second. Math 110. There's Pendleton campus. There. Instructor. It may be that one right there. Let's see, I'll have to look because see that one says 3 and 4, but I didn't see much of 4 on there. I think that's why it threw me off, so I'll have to look and see. I think I know what it is. Do you know the questions that had the opposite directions and the same directions? That's from chapter 4.
We'll take it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and a lot of people say, well, why you put so much complete and square on there? When you're in calculus, I want you to come back and thank me. Okay?
I will.
When you're in calculus, you will come back and say, Hubert, the people in there do not know how to use complete and square, but I know how to use it. And then you're going to thank me. And then those of you that refuse to learn it, then you're on your own. Except for Mr. Bays, he don't need calculus. He found out. All right, who's got questions?
I'm on that.
All right, then what I'll do, I'll look through the I'll look through the chapter 4.1. Is it 4.1 and 4.2?
I think so.
I think that's the questions that came from 4.1 and 4.2. But I'll look at it and see, and if I need to give you another test, I'll give it to you on Monday, and we'll go through it, and then we'll move on to logarithms. Any questions?
Nope. Just
All right,
a
y'all have a
bunch
good
of
day.
homework.
I'll see y'all
Bye.
Monday. Get this test and get the homework finished up.